Alright, we are going to be talking about scientific notation in this video. We're going to go over how to go from scientific notations back and forth from standard notation. We're going to multiply and divide. We are also going to add and subtract. So, scientific notation is a way of expressing very large and very small numbers with a factor and a power of 10. You can see our factor is in the spot of A. I will be referring to it as factor and power in this video. Our factor has to be between 1 and 10, and it's always a power of 10, so we have 10 and some exponent. So we are first going to look at going from scientific notation to standard form. So, like I said, I will be using the vocab. So, our step 1, we're going to rewrite our factor. Then we will move our decimal. We'll fill any empty spots, and then we're going to rewrite it and make it look all nice. So when my exponent is positive, I need to go to the right. When my exponent is negative, I need to go to the left. So let's get into it. I have something like 3.2 times 10 to the 5th. So 3.2 is my factor. That's what I'm going to rewrite. My exponent of 5 is positive, so that means I need to move 5 to the right. I'm going to take my decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where I'm going to move, and I'm filling all those empty spots with zeros. And remember, we are moving our decimal, so it is no longer in that original spot. So when I rewrite it, I am not going to keep it there. So I have 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now we don't need to put that decimal at the end. If you think about how you regularly see numbers, typically it is not there. We will do another example. I'm going to rewrite my factor, 8.64. My exponent indicates I'm going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. Filling that empty spot with the 0. So I get 8, 6, 4, 0. Go ahead, pause, and try to do this on your own, and then check back to see my answer. Should have gotten 200 for that one. Now you can see we have a negative decimal, so this is going to look a little different. I'm still going to rewrite my factor. And now, since I have that negative 5, that means I need to move 5 to the left. So I'm going to move my decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, filling those empty spaces with zeros. So I point 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Now, sometimes when you enter into ALEKS, it may tell you that this is improper. Normally they tell you that putting a 0 in the front, but if that is going to mess you up, then don't worry about it. You don't need it. You can get rid of it. Okay, I'm going to rewrite my factor, 8.64. I need to go 3 to the left. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. Fill in those empty spaces. Get 0.00864. Go ahead and try this one on your own, and then check back to see my answer. Should have gotten 0.02. Now we're going to talk about standard form to scientific notation. So we are going to place our decimal after our first number that isn't 0. Then I'm going to write my factor. I'm going to include all my numbers until there are only zeros left. I'm going to count my decimal places and put it all together. Big numbers get positive exponents. Negative exponents go to these small numbers. So something like 243,000. My first digit is 2, and that is not 0. So I can go ahead, place my decimal. So 2.43 will be my factor. Remember, I said we're going to include all numbers until we only have zeros left. Now I need to count my decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So times 10 to the 5th. Since this is a very big number, 243,000, I'm going to give that a positive exponent. This one, my first digit is 7, that's not 0. I'm going to place my decimal right after that. 7.06 will be my factor. Make sure that we get all the way to including that 6. Once it's only zeros is when we drop off. Then I'm going to count my decimals. 1, 2, 3 times 10 to the positive 3rd. Go ahead and try this next one and then check my answer. Should have gotten 1.3 times 10 to the 3rd. Now let's look at some smaller numbers. So 0.0012, that's obviously a very small number. Going to place my decimal right after my 1 because that is my first digit that is not 0. 1.2 would be my factor, and 1, 2, 3 times 10 to the negative 3 because it is a small number. 4 is my first digit that isn't 0. 4.05 is going to be my factor. And I need to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4 would be my exponent. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Check back to see my answer. I've gotten 7.8 times 10 to the negative 1. Now we are going to look at multiplying scientific notation. So we are going to multiply our factors. Then we're going to multiply our powers. We're going to use the product of powers rule. And then we need to make sure that our factor is not too big. If our factor is too big, we have to add to our exponent. So first step, I'm going to multiply my factors. So 3.2 times 2. Then I'm going to multiply my powers. 10 to the 3rd times 10 to the 6th. 3.2 times 2 is going to leave me with 6.4. When I am multiplying powers with like bases, I'm going to keep my base of 10, and with my exponents, I'm going to head and add them. 3 plus 6 is going to leave me with 9. Double check that factor is in between 1 and 10. 6.4 is good. So this will be my final answer. On to my next. I have 1.4 times 4.2. And I have 10 to the 8th times 10 to the 2nd. Gonna go ahead and jump to my calculator. 1.4 times 4.2, 5.88. And my powers, I'm going to keep my base. 8 plus 2 is going to give me 10. Go ahead and try this next one on your own. Check back to see my answer. So you may have gotten here to 47.6 times 10 to the 6. Sorry, 57. But 57 is larger than 10. So what I need to do is move my decimal and add 1 to my exponent. So now I have 5.76 times 10 to the 7th. Go ahead and pause, try to do this one on your own. You would have gotten 20.02 times 10 to the 13th, but we needed to move it over, so you get 2.002 times 10 to the 14th. Now we are going to look at dividing. So with dividing, very similar, we're going to divide our factors, we're going to divide our powers, we're going to use the quotient of powers rule for that. And if our factor is too small, then we need to subtract from our exponent. So I have 8 divided by 2, and I have 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 6th. 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4. 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 6th. I'm going to keep my base, and now this time I need to subtract my powers. So 9 minus 6 is going to give me 3. I have 6.2 divided by 3, 10 to the 8th divided by 10 to the 6th, 6.2 divided by 3 is going to give me, top over to our calculator, it's going to give me 2.06. Ten to the 8th over 10 to the 6th, I'm going to subtract those exponents, so I'd get 10 to the 2nd. Go ahead and try this example on your own, and then come back and check my answer. You should have gotten 0.4 times 10 to the 6th, but 0.4 is too small. I need to move my exponent and move my decimal and subtract from my exponent. So I have 4 times 10 to the 5th. Go ahead and try this last one on your own. Come back and check your answer with mine. If you would like to know how to add and subtract scientific notation, go ahead and watch the video posted on that.